guys, so today I have a first impression review for you. I'm going to be using Tone's acrylic and monomer to do a fill. So I'll just show you the products real quick. So I have their clear acrylic powder. I also have their glass acrylic powder. Now this one here is from a different line. It has shimmer in it. I don't know if it's coming up on screen, but I'm going to be using glass, which is completely clear. And then I have their monomer, and I'm also going to be using their dehydrator and primer. So this is a low odor acid free primer, and then their dehydrator nail prep solution. So I'm going to be using that system today to do the fill, like I said. So I went ahead and I prepped my nails. So what I did was I made sure to remove all of my fingernail polish that I had on. I'm not sure if you can tell, but my extension starts right about here, so I'm just going to be filling in the cuticle area. I've already removed the dead skin and pushed back my cuticles, like I said. This hopefully should be a fairly quick process. I also have my dapping dish and my brushes. You want to make sure anytime you're working with acrylic that you're working in a well-ventilated area, so if you hear any background noise, that's my fan going, and I have the window open, so I do apologize for that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to use 91% alcohol to make sure that I don't have any oils on my nail. And you always want to start with completely clean and prep nails before you go in with acrylic, or you will have lifting. So I'm going to go in with the dehydrator. You want to make sure you don't touch your skin. And then I'm going to go in with my primer. For the video, I'm going to be working on my thumb. It's the easiest for you guys to see. And so I don't need to cover the entire nail with the primer. Just the part that's my natural nail. Go in and pick up my bead. I'm not going to need a very large bead. And I'm going to remove the excess liquid so that it's easier to handle. And I'll actually move you guys in a little bit. So I'm going to place that down. And with the tip of my brush, I'm going to kind of work it side to side and then pull it forward. I want to make sure that I'm not getting it onto my cuticle area and that I'm not going too far down. At this point, I'm also going to check my apex and see if I need to build that up. But that's pretty much it for the fill. So just like before, I'm going to take out some of the liquid, place that bead behind where I want it, use the tip of my brush to kind of walk it to the back cuticle area, and then pull forward. Again, check the apex. If you need to adjust that, do that. So once the acrylics had time to set up, you want to make sure that it's not warm to the touch anymore and that you hear kind of a plasticky sound as opposed to a soft thud. So you want to make sure that you file your tip. You can also do your sidewalls. Make sure you pull away your skin if you're working on yourself or a client. So all that I'm doing is going around here, and what I'm trying to do is create a nice transition between acrylic to natural nail. And I'm doing that by filing the acrylic, not the natural nail. I'm using a very coarse file, so you want to keep that away from your natural nail or you will end up with grooves. And as you notice, I'm going pretty slow. And here in a minute, I am going to switch to a finer grit file, because as I get closer to my natural nail, I want to make sure that I'm as careful as possible, and also I don't want a bunch of groove marks on my nail. Once I'm happy with that transition, I'm going to go ahead and go in with my polar block. And at this point, I like to go in with my rubbing alcohol and take a look at the nail. So you can see the transition here is pretty good. So I can go ahead and go on to the rest of my nails. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up my hands, and then I'll give you guys the final thoughts on the product that I reviewed today. So I want to go ahead and wrap up this review slash first impressions. There was very little odor, if any at all, to the acid-free primer. The dehydrator, again, didn't have very much of an odor. I didn't have any burning, stinging with either of those. They went on very easily, very easy to work with. Long-term use, as far as will I get lifting or anything like that, I can't tell you right now, but I will update in the bottom of the description bar. So check back in a couple weeks for that if you're interested in kind of a follow-up. The monomer, you know, it smelled like monomer. It was fairly strong, but with the window open and fan going, it didn't bother me at all. It was really easy to work with, nice violet color, like most good monomers. So it gives you some directions here on the back. The powder and monomer together, it came to consistency very easily. I didn't have any issues with it being gummy or drying too fast or being too runny. A lot of that comes to how you pick up your pearl, ball, whatever you want to call it. The acrylic was very clear. I didn't get any bubbling or cloudiness at all with it. It filed really easily. I was able to get a good seal around my cuticle area. You know, again, that comes down to it not being gummy and flowing really well. So overall, I'd say it's a very stable product. I didn't have any issues. There's nothing really that I can point out that was bad or that I didn't care for. The consistency was nice. It dried really well for me. You know, I wasn't waiting forever, but then again, it's a fairly warm day here. I would say we're in the lower 80s. And in my house, it's probably right around 70. So overall, great product. I will try to update you as much as I can down in the description bar. So check back, like I said, for that. I will have all links to the products down there as well. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave those down below. And as always, thank you guys for watching.